Welcome to the Gump Report, my friends. We are here to talk about a very underutilized talent, Caleb Connery. Now, I did already talk about on my impact review what could be good for Caleb Connery. But what have we really gotten from Caleb Connery? Next to him doing Suicide, he has worked with NWA Short. Then he went back to Impact. Now he's working as Caleb with a K, and I just repeated myself because that's how it feels. It's just a repeat. He needs a change. And Caleb could get that change remaking Suicide into a new type of character. Now, we know Suicide has been around for years. We know TJ Perkins was Suicide at one point. Someone else was Suicide at one point. I think it was, I forgot his name. Evans, I think Austin Evans was Suicide at one point, I think. But Caleb is the only Suicide right now. But we have not seen a refresh of Suicide. Not talking about a new wrestler, but talking about a new way to make the persona interesting. Now, I did cover generally my idea, but I think I'll elaborate a little bit more. Let's say this is kind of like a booking the wrestler, but it's in a Gump Report style. Gump Report style, that just sounds stupid. But anyway, we get, let's say, the beginning of this year, we get Caleb with a K, and we get Suicide. Suicide comes back, and he is wrestling. People going like, why are we seeing Suicide in so many matches, and he's losing so easily? Because it will be either on BTI, and they'll show it on the main show that Suicide's lost, or it will be on the main show at the Impact Zone. And over again, we see Suicide get his butt whooped very quickly. And you can see Suicide hammering the mat, hammering the floor, kicking the ropes, just angry, building and building slowly. Then we see Caleb with a K. And he's working with Tennille, and everyone is cool with Caleb with a K. And they're like messing with Caleb. They're pushing him around. They think he's a joke along with Tennille. Tennille's screaming at him saying, do this, do that, like she normally does. But then you see Caleb, when no one's looking at him, he's showing anger. And then you start seeing flipping screen of Suicide. You see the screen flip and flash, and you see Suicide. Or a figure that may look like Suicide, but you can't see it yet. But every time he's showing and he gets angry, you see the screen flicker and you see a silhouette. That sounds better. But we know it's Suicide. But the more Caleb gets angry, the more Suicide loses, the more the flickering screen shows more and more of the face that you see there. And at, let's say, the Genesis, the Impact show, they're going to make an Impact, not a Impact pay-per-view, but Impact Plus show, that he wrestles twice in the same night. He gets kicked in the ass by a Jake something again. Then he gets kicked in the ass by an Eddie Edwards. He gets angry. Both of them just seem frustrated. The next month, again, he gets his butt kicked by Moose this time. He gets his butt kicked by Shearer next time. You see more aggression coming from a Caleb slowly, as well as extreme aggression from Suicide. Suicide is showing incredible frustration, anger, growing and growing and growing. As time goes on, you see Caleb's personality begin to change. And Tennille herself begins to notice and say, you're right. He says, yeah, I'm fine. Oh, sorry. What do you need? And she sees he flips the script for a second and said, you're right. He says, oh, yeah, I'm fine. Let's go and see if we can do something on Twitter and maybe get something on Instagram while I get you some coffee. And that happens more and more and more as time goes on, going into Slammiversary. I say Slammiversary would be the best time because it would be built up for about 6 months. Caleb, more and more and more, shows frustration in the ring when he gets his butt kicked. And then Suicide, now by the time nearing Slammiversary, literally is pounding his opponents into the ground. Even bigger opponents who are beating him, he doesn't care. If he loses, he attacks them, beats them, hammers them, and constantly keeps hammering them until people have to pull him off them. More and more until he has a match with the former, who is manic, T.J. Perkins, a former suicide himself. Because in this situation, suicide has been attacking everyone that has been associated with suicide, either a member of the roster or someone in the back. Over the years of suicide, including legends like P.D. Williams, who dealt with suicide. And then TJ says, whoever this person is attacking people who is associated with suicide, he can come at me because I used to be suicide and I'm manic too. And then suicide shows up and he's breathing heavily at him and says, you want a real fight? Slammiversary. Me and you. Who wins keeps their damn mask. Nice and quiet. And you can feel the aggression. So at Slammiversary, you get the newly lost his mind suicide in a Caleb Connery versus a TJ Perkins. Now by this time, Tennille Dashwood found the suicide's clothes in Caleb's stuff because she was looking for something, because she thinks everything belongs to her, it's all about me. And she noticed suicide stuff inside Caleb's stuff. And she goes out to the ring while they're fighting. Because it wasn't a match, it was a downright fight. And she's saying, what are you doing? Stop. And he gets so angry, he shoves her to the ground. And he beats TJ Perkins. But TJ, losing his mask as manic, didn't really mean much. But then you see Suicide remove his mask and show Caleb's face, enraged. And he screams the loudest primal scream a guy could do at everyone. You could think about what happened with, when it came to Kane having to lose his mask when he was working with RVD. And when he took off that mask and how aggressive and evil he looked, it's the same thing you do with Caleb Connery. The same thing with him. Now, mind you, keeping the suicide moniker will be the most important thing. Because he's now a split personality that has merged into one. And anytime when you see Caleb with a K, he's Connery now. And he makes it very clear to everyone, don't mess with me. Do you want me angry? You won't like me when you're angry. He does the Hulk thing. Because once he gets set up in the mask, what you see in a calm, cool, collected Caleb, who finally accepts what he is as the super aggressive suicide, shows total out of controlness in the ring. Not just doing aerial, but being so overly aggressive. The general speaking is, he rarely wins his matches because he's literally pounding his opponent to the point where they submit, tap out, or the match is DQ'd because he's so overly aggressive. This could be a new turning point for Caleb and Suicide to give it a refresh in a way that no one else is getting. You think Macklin is nasty and aggressive? Do this with Caleb. But this is just me, and I hope you enjoyed this Gump report. Please give me a comment below if anyone likes this. Peace.